And it looks like we're about ready to start. So in 10 seconds, the runners will get the sign to go, and the stream will catch up shortly after.
Now with these flags, the shop's prices are shuffled, but their contents are not. So they're always going to have the choice of iron hammers in the opening weapon shop. The item shop is always going to be heals, pures, intense, etc. But the magic shops can still be shuffled, and depending on what we see there will determine the course of this run.
And it looks like we have, at level 1, we have heal 3 and exit. So exit will be very nice to help our runners if they have to go into marsh or really any dungeon. And the iron hammers are, well, they don't get much cheaper than 1 gold apiece.
And it looks like we're already seeing edges skipping the armor shop. True that the only thing the white mages can equip there is cloth, but sometimes 1 absorb can be all the difference depending on how bad these imps are.
And looks like the imps rolled a fair amount of HP. A 10 damage hammer hit isn't enough to take them out. So we have Tristel and Sforzando deciding to do some early leveling while Edge is just booking it across the early bridge.
That's a smart call, so you don't have to sit through the cutscene multiple times.
And looks like he is he's going to take his 5 imps with a chance to strike first and run away. So he's got tents, and that'll allow him to check out Matoya's cave.
Even with the limited opportunities of places to go, you can still get a huge advantage by checking someplace earlier than others. Matoya is pretty well unimpeded and doesn't have any enemies actually inside it, so it's probably a smart call. We see a pro cape, some money, and a useless sun sword.
Yep, so sun sword hopefully can be sold for a fair amount of money. Depending on how that rolled, that could be enough money for the rest of the seed for the runners here.
That is true. These spell costs can start getting high, especially at higher levels if Fade or Cure 4 or Life 2 is up there.
It's like Edge deciding to skip that Mad Pony fight, and with 3 tents, that seems to be just enough to get him into Provoca.
I can't say I blame him. Those Mad Ponies can hit deceptively hard, especially if all you have is cloth or no armor.
So it looks like Sun Sword selling for about 7k, so that's pretty solid. That should mean silver bracelets are within reach as soon as anybody gets to Melman. And we have Heal 2, Soft, Cure 3, and Fog in the level 2 white magic shop. So still no Fade. Means they're just going to hammer out their differences between the pirates.
That's going to be interesting depending on what the pirates have. They hit like a truck and I saw poison.
Yeah, so it looks like poison touch and 2 hits. So this might require a little bit of leveling. I think with level 1 heal 3 this is doable, but definitely want some better armor, and you want some maybe 100 HP.
Yeah, the armor is going to be tricky. The only thing you can pick up here that helps out is gloves, and that's only another 1 absorb. You have to defeat the pirates to get the ship, and without the ship you can't get copper bracelets, which are 4 absorb.
Ooh, Tristel with the clutch heal 3 going off, but he's down to only 2 white mages left, and the pirates seem to be pretty good at dodging, and it looks like Edge doesn't feel confident in finishing this at level 1, so he's going to take some fights in the overworld.
It's gonna be tricky. There isn't much out here that a level 1 white mage with no magic could kill just those imp parties.
And Trystal clutches it out with 4 health on a poisoned white mage. And look at all those levels going up. One level 6.
Good night. Yeah, that is definitely sheer luck.
And I don't think that would have been possible without that early pro cape. So anybody that dipped into Matoya's on the way by were definitely rewarded.
Yeah, compared to your other options, the 8 absorb from that pro cape makes you an outright tank this early.
And Trystal is on board the ship. And Edge and Sforzando look like they are getting a couple of extra levels, and at 3 with a pro cape, this should be doable. Although I don't think Edge stopped that. Oh, no, he did. So he can try to run the same strategy that Trystal did. Oh, I guess Trystal didn't have the pro cape, so he stops at Matoya's. That was just outright good fortune that he didn't get too many 2 hits on that lead white mage.
Fate favors fools, the bold, and people named Trystal, apparently.
And now Edge is going to take the second crack at the pirates, but is going to do some evasion stacking, and this should be enough to get him through.
Naturally, it looks like he's stacking absorb, which will still help him.
Oh, it's fog, not invis. Good call.
And now we see Trystal taking a run up to TOF.
So it looks like he's doing the usual Temple of Fiends strategy, save, and then run up there. If he doesn't find anything he wants, he's probably just going to reset.
Smart call.
And Soft Potion is not going to do it. And these pirates are still giving Edge the business to the point where I think maybe you just gotta go all offense and hope for the best. Now he's gonna pick up some gloves first.
Quite possibly, and Trystal killing a few zombies, validating the run.
Always good to pick up experience wherever you can in a seed like this. There's not too many mobs that are weak to harm 2 if you're not going into Marsh Cave. So.
And now Sforzando is going up against the pirates.
Yeah, it seems like they're taking quite a beating. There's a lot of folks still on the pirates as I look over to my monitor with 12 other streams open.
Your poor computer. Well, Tristal noped out of TOF after only finding a couple potions and a silver shield, so now he's off to the last non-Marsh Cave opportunity to find a TNT, which is Lazy Dwarfs.
And it doesn't look like there's going to be anything there, so he's going to have to go into Marsh Caves.
The good thing is there are a lot of undead groups in Marsh, and having Harm 2 is better than nothing at this stage. But we also have yet to see what Elfland will yield. As soon as Tristal gets away from these ogres, we'll probably find out what the level 3 and 4 spells are.
In the meantime, Edge knocks down the last pirate, and he'll get his ship shortly.
I see Fade at level 3 along with Fog 2.
Level 3 Fade, we're off to the races. And level 4 Cure 4 and Life. So that Life, Exit, all the healing you want, and Fade. This is a very, very good white magic seed.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much your white mage starter kit.
It looks like Tristal's going to invest in some copper bracelets as well.
That's a smart call as well, since he's going to have to run in the marsh. Even with Fade, there's things like the Shadow Group that can ambush you with 5 or 6 and hitting you hard. All the absorb you can get.
Yeah, that'll be very effective against the Gargoyle group in particular. Those guys tend to roll very high number of hits.
Even in vanilla, they have a ton of hits.
So looks like Edge is stopping back at Canaria to do a bunch of shopping with the white mages that are still around. And looks like he has filled up the spell levels for all of his white mages. So stacked level 1. Looks like everybody's got Exit, so he doesn't have to worry if he's only got 1 white mage left.
I don't typically buy it on all of them, but 1 is completely insufficient. All it takes is the wrong enemy ambush and then 1 shot and you're deep in a dungeon. What are you going to do?
Looks like Tristal is pretty much ready to go to Marsh, just doing a little bit of leveling since he has access to Fade. I guess getting a couple more levels before going into Marsh Cave certainly doesn't hurt. And maybe with that, a couple more charges of Fade.
True, with it being at level 3, you have to really conserve your charges, but he also has Harm 2 as backup against the undead groups.
As long as you can get that cast of Fade off against the wizard group, that's really what you're looking for. Of course, only a 1 in 10 chance that that wizard group is blocking something vital. So we'll see if where the TNT is, or if it's or if this is going to be an early crown seed.
Yes, Fearless, that is the case. This flag group requires 4 white mages to be run. Alright, it looks like Tristel is buying a few things, a few softs, a few pures. Also grabbing houses, which is good. That means he can spam spells on the way there to deal with unruly groups.
Yeah, and he has everything that he needs at this point. It looked like he just took off without saving, and that's a little dangerous. But he runs into a group that he knows is pretty safe. Sforzando taking another crack at the pirates, and this fight seems to be going a lot better.
Yeah, actually got over half the group down before he lost his first party member.
And Edge is cashing in on all of those good white magic spells available in Elfland. Tristel taking a rough ambush, but it looks like he's going to fade this group down as well. So clearly his plan was to get as many levels as possible before getting into Marsh to make things easier.
Yeah, two things you definitely want in this type of seed. You want your spell charges, you want high hit points. Not only do you have gargoyles, which can hit you multiple times, and if they roll any kind of attack stat, it can really hurt, but it's also things down there like scorpions, which can hit pretty hard on their own.
Tristel getting a rare preemptive, decides to skip the zombie group, and also no ambush versus the spider group. So far so good in the on the way up to the top half of the Marsh Cave.
And he's checking the bottom one first. 2 chests in here. Looks like money and bones and crawls. We'll see in a moment what the other chest has.
Meanwhile, Edge finds a group of Geists just outside, so he is ready to head into Marsh Cave as well, but with a party group of level 5, so doesn't have very much in the way of fade charges, just 1 for each party member.
Other than the wizard group in Lower Marsh, though, there are no true unrunnables in Marsh Cave, so he can just run away from the living groups and harm to the dead.
So there is the TNT right there. Now, having found the TNT in the top half, do you just skip the bottom half of Marsh and go straight to the dwarves, or do you check it out before leaving?
It depends on how bad the enemies are. If I'm getting walloped left and right and barely making it out of this with my life, I'm not bothering with the lower half.
So Tristel's going to take a dive to the bottom half, and we'll see if he's rewarded.
Yeah. He needs to find the ruby or the floater, and it could be hidden behind the crown. Now Edge has his TNT, so we'll see what kind of call he makes.
Yep, and it looks like Sforzando is heading out to the lazy dwarves right now. But we know they're a little more industrious than they appeared this seed.
Looks like Edge has his TNT and it's just noping out.
All right, so this is interesting divergence. Edge is going to gain some time on Tristel, but Tristel's going to be able to check 6 more chests, so we'll see if this pays off.
Yeah, and if the ruby or the floater or even the crown are in here, that lead Edge is making up could be all for naught.
So on the other screen, looks like Green Cleric and A-Dog and Quicklit are also in swamp right now, or excuse me, marsh cave, and Artea is about to go into marsh cave.
So far, Tristan not finding much downstairs, as Edge is back in Chimera stocking up.
Yep, and so far it looks like the leader out of all of our runners is Minochi, who is currently buying silver bracelets in Melmond right now.
Now, do we know if Tristan exited out and saved before hitting Lower Marsh, or whether he just went straight down there?
He left and saved. He burned a house so that to refresh his fade charges.
Okay, so he can just reset out if this proves to be absolutely nothing, which so far it's looking like.
Yeah, I think he may just exit and just to save the experience, because he did fade down 3 or 4 groups while he was there.
Yeah, but he came away with nothing of value, so at least of the people on screen right now, Edge has a pretty substantial lead.
Yep, so we know Edge is in the lead right now, and we'll see where he stops from there. So, knowing what you know right now, where would your next destination be?
I have Fade, I have Harm 2, I have Exit, I'm going to check Earth Cave. I have to kill Vampire anyway because there's no early rod.
Yeah, that's a good point to mention. One of the unique things about this flag set is that the early rod convenience is turned off, so all of our runners have to go down and kill the vampire before Sarda will hand over that rod. So interesting, making players play like it's vanilla. We'll see if anybody forgets to kill the vampire first. I think that got a couple of people in our first race.
Yeah, RD early canoe does mean Ordeals is available, but I still think Earth would be the smart call with the spell set these players have. Now, we do see Edge. Looks like he's headed to Crescent. He may be going to get Silver Hammers. Those I would personally find unnecessary with early Fade, but your mileage may vary.
I mean, he may just pick up the canoe as well and just head over to either Ordeals or Ice.
Yeah, even the Armory and Volcano is well within reach with the Exit spell in hand.
Yeah, and it looks like, as I peer over on the other screen, that's exactly where Minochi is headed right now.
It's a gamble, but it's a smart one. The Armory chests are pretty much grouped, whereas with Earth Cave, they're all scattered. But of course, in this seed, Volcano is not required, unless it turns out the Go mode item is there.
Yeah, and another interesting thing about this is that there are basically 2 Go mode items that our runners are looking for. They can complete the seed with either the Ruby or the Floater, and it could very well be that both of those are accessible just in different locations.
Absolutely, and each one offers its own risks and rewards. With the Ruby, you don't necessarily need to have the, well, you wouldn't have the airship anyway because you wouldn't have the floater, and you'd have access to 4 more chests. On this seed, that may not be as necessary. Realistically, 95 out of 100, you want the floater instead.
Yeah, Floater's going to be a bit quicker. You don't have to take the long walk over to the Titan's Tunnel. And then the Melmond overworld area is also full of a lot of encounters you don't want to deal with, especially the 7+ Shadow group.
Now, thankfully, the scripts aren't shuffled, so you won't have to worry about, say, Shadows with Inferno, but Just dealing with 7 of them ambushing you and hitting you, it's slowing you down.
And it looks like Tristal has completed the upgrade. Down go the coppers, and picks up a bunch of silver bracelets instead. And that should be enough to carry the rest of the game. And it looks like Tristal's taking your advice and headed straight for Earth.
It's not as risky as you'd think. You have to go down there anyway. The only difference is the chests are a little scattered.
Minochi into the volcano right now. Artea picks up the canoe. And it looks like Papa Foyce is in Earth as well. So we've got a couple of people. Very interesting. Even though we've got 18 entrants, it looks like everybody is sort of spread out evenly among all of the locations.
There are a ton of options in this flag group. We see Edge grinding Peds just in case it's necessary. Although, honestly, I wouldn't be wasting the time.
I think for Edge's case, it's more vital to him because he finished Marsh Cave around level 6, and just needing that XP bump to get level 7 or level 8 HP totals, that pays off a lot more for Edge than it does for any of the other runners on stream.
And this is gutsy. He's headed to Ice. So far, Tristal finding nothing in the first floor of Earth as he's checking the north leg.
Yeah, so we've got all kinds of gambles here. Minochi in the volcano, Tristal in Earth, Sforzando checking the basement of Marsh, and Edge going into Ice Cave. And it looked like he did a little encounter manipulation there, sailing back and forth on the ship to avoid an encounter on Power Cycle.
That sounds fair. The ocean encounters are a lot less threatening, especially with randomized stats compared to the river encounters. A Hydra can give you a very bad day, and a group of Caribe, even without shuffled skills, can still turn things into a slog.
So it looks like not much to be found on the top floor. We'll see if Tristal has better luck on the second floor.
Found a ton of money. Thor Hammer. That Thor Hammer will help preserve fade charges, at least.
Yeah, that'll be pretty good, especially saving fade charges against the wizard groups, which like to show up on the 3rd and 4th floor here.
And luckily, the Thor Hammer does lightning damage, lightning 2, so that is the one element that wizards are neutral to. They resist pretty much everything else.
And we'll get our first look at the Earth Elemental, but not for long.
Now, this could be interesting. In normal flag sets, especially where you have black magic available, there's a little trick you can do to get to the incentivized chest early. You can't do that here with white mages because they don't get warp. Exit will just kick you right out the dungeon.
And it looks like mages are as nasty as they are in vanilla, showing off Lit 3.
Yeah, spells are shuffled if they got them, and mages definitely got them.
So that is, especially since mages, I believe, are the 2nd highest ambush rate in the game. That is a nasty encounter to deal with, and I think Edge might just be skipping that chest on the way down.
Hopefully it don't bite him. Looks like Sforzando is finally going to blow up the canal. Meantime, Tristal running into a ton of gargoyles.
And like you said, that's exactly why you pick up the silver bracelets.
Absolutely. The fact that they hit multiple times means that absorb just helps you so much more.
Wizards with low health, only 57 HP. Still needs the Fade to finish off the top two. Got some low rolls.
Yeah, they may have low hit points, but it looks like they have somewhat decent magic defense. Finding a heal helmet.
Yep. Edge back down on the mage floor again, and we'll see if he takes another shot at that treasure chest. I think just because of their ambush rate, it's not worth it. That encounter group can also spawn 4 mages, too.
Mage staff for Tristal.
So pretty solid group of items so far, but nothing that you would really want to finish things out.
All they really do is put off a grind, since he can start conserving his fade charges now. And yeah, it looks like Edge is gonna skip out on the mages. Now, just because we have incentivized chests and ice and ordeals, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be good items. Just because we're completing the Lich, they could still have the Adamant in there, the Masmune, Ribbon. Point is, nothing that helps them progress, plus later items like the Slab.
And we have a floater sighting, and Minochi finds it in the volcano.
Oh, all these runners on here are going to be kicking themselves real hard, and Edge is probably going to be kicking himself for running into that blizzard.
Yikes. This
So
this ice cave, yeah, is just as cruel as vanilla. What's next? Sorcerers with that touch?
I still have nightmares. Well, at least Tristal's gamble pays off in one way. He doesn't have to dive twice in the Earth Cave. Yeah, it's true. The Ruby and the Floater could both be fairly accessible.
So Tristal has about one more chest to go, and he's really hoping for, well, the best case for Tristal is a vanilla ruby.
I think what would absolutely ruin his day is if this chest turns out to be something like the Crown, which could send him off on another wild goose chase.
It's a heal staff, so Tristal's gonna have to dip out to go get the canoe.
Looks like Edge is getting a little low on fade charges in here.
Yeah, and okay, the Frostwolves know fire too as well, so this is just a really, really cruel ice cave that we have right now.
Sforzando headed to Ordeals.
All right, so I think the first out of anybody that I've seen headed that way. So if this is Ruby, this may pay off.
It's a good call. There is 2 unrunnables, and both are undead. Even then, he does have Fate also. And the pillars, are they randomized in this?
They are randomized.
It was looking pretty close to vanilla there.
And looks like Medusa's leading off with slow, so They are true to their namesake. That spell's slow. Wastes a lot of time.
Yep, luckily getting a fade off, and it could be a ton worse.
Ice armor in the ice cave for Edge, and a katana as well, but no thieves here.
Yeah, it's not like he needs more money. Every spell you need is within level 1 to 4. So now he's going to check the eye chest. Oh my
The
god!
eye knows thunder.
But 3 survived, and it doesn't look like he has a ton of hit points or magic defense.
So the prize for surviving this is the tail.
Well, he's keeping it, but he did get a lot of levels.
Yep. And unfortunately, I think Edge knows he is in very, very bad shape here.
And that is one of the issues with this flag set. It is just so short. If you make the wrong gamble, you often don't get a chance to recover.
So Sforzando makes it to the top floor of ordeals and runs into a pack of mommies. So good experience. He's going to fade this down, and we'll see shortly what the incentivized item is in ordeals. Meanwhile, we have Artea with the floater as well, and he is headed down to Earth Cave. Minochi with still a significant lead.
So now we get to see where Tristal's headed next. Is it gonna click for him to go to the volcano, or is he gonna try one of the other incentivized places?
It looks like he's headed to ordeals.
And the incentivized item is a ribbon in ordeals.
Oh, the worst possible. Not even not even a plot item.
Edge has the right idea. He's going to volcano.
So as soon as he gets down to the Agama chest, he'll pick up that floater. But in the meantime, Minochi is wrestling with a wolf pack in Earth right now.
Aside from Tristal, pretty much all these other runners, including the 2 you're talking about, still have to make 2 dives. Or have had to, rather. Tristal's already got 1 out of the way, but we know he won't find progression here. Looks like Edge is going to check other chests. He was about to nope out by the look of it. And we have someone wanting an explanation in chat. Edgeworth, you want to handle that quick?
Yeah, so this is the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer. In the case of this seed, the enemies' spell lists are shuffled. The contents of the treasure chests are shuffled. The randomizer can do a whole lot more than that, though. For example, fixing bugs, adding conveniences, and all of that. The end total is that this is it plays like the vanilla Final Fantasy that you're familiar with, but it's different. Every game is different because the items are different. The spells you have access to are different. And becomes an interesting strategic puzzle to figure out what's the fastest way to get through a game of this. The rules for this seed are that our runners have to defeat the Fiend of Earth, LICH. In order to do that, they have to find the TNT, and then they have to find either the floater or the ruby. Then they have to go kill the vampire, leave Earth Cave, and then go back down with the rod and kill LICH. So far, our runners on stream, Edge is in the best position as he's headed towards where we already know the floater is. Right now, Minochi is on the LICH floor, and he may close this thing out in about a couple minutes or so. So with regards to the league, every stage has different rules and goals. The person who finishes first in the league, or first in a given race, gets 0 points, and everyone else that finishes behind him gets stuck with a certain amount of points depending on how far they finish behind him. So it's like golf. You want the fewest amount of points possible. And so far, we have a lot of folks that have no points after stage 1. Stage 2 is a little bit more variable, though. So you may see a lot more people getting stuck with points at the end of this stage.
And it appears we have a winner finishing off stream, Minochi.
Back to back, Minochi snipes Artea. Minochi finishing at 40.55 and Artea finishing at 41.04. So we'll see if we can get them in Discord for some commentary. In the meantime, Sforzando finds out, yep, the mages have lit 3, and hey, they have lit 2 as well.
That's just insult to insult right there. But he's going to dive right back in. It is worth it to try to finish, because the closer you finish to first place, like you said, the point gets dropped a little lower.
And so it looks like we have Edge taken to the skies with the airship, so he can, all he has to do now is kill the vampire, grab the rod, and kill LICH, so he's in pretty good shape. As far as any of the other runners, it looks like he is in the best shape to finish at this point.
Yep. Sforzando's still chasing that wild goose in ice, and Tristal is back in Crescent.
So yeah, we're joined by Minochi. GG to you.
GG, guys. Thanks.
So, go ahead, Tar.
I was going to say, what possessed you to go Volcano first when all the odds were pointing at Earth?
Because everybody's gonna dive Earth, or 2 incentivized places. If I'm gonna gamble and get first, I'm gonna choose Volcano because no one would have been there.
And as it turns out, seemed like Artea took the gamble as well. So pretty interesting. I guess just trying crazy strategies to play defense, but you managed to snipe him this time.
Oh yeah, that was lucky. I snapped by 9 seconds.
So what did you think of that pirate fight?
I went straight for Peninsula Power first, grinded to level 8 on my 3 of my characters, so the pirate fight was pretty easy.
And it looks like Sforzando is forfeited.
And so we'll try to get somebody else rotated in a bit, but in the meantime, Tristal is going through Volcano right now, and Edge looks to be doing his first Earth dive.
From here, Tristal only has to do that one final Earth dive because he already did the one to Volcano, which unfortunately didn't pan out.
So actually, it looked like you were right on the money. A lot of people decided to clear out Earth first. We didn't have too many takers on ice, but we had a few going to our deals. So it looked like your assessment of the situation was right, and it paid off big time.
And now on our bottom right screen, we have Introoper Zero, who's one of the developers of Randomizer.
Looks like he's playing with some of the fun options on, in case you're wondering why his sprites look a little different than everyone else's.
Yeah, do not adjust your TV.
It looks like we had a few more forfeits, so Papa Foy's Fuchsia Fantasy drop out as well.
Yeah, this is brutal. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forfeits.
And, GG to you, Artea.
Thank you, sir. GG Mono, you definitely deserve that one.
Thanks, man. That was pretty close.
You know, I derped around quite a bit, so I'm really happy I didn't finish first because somebody else definitely deserved that over me.
Yeah, it looked like you had a little bit rougher time with the pirate fight.
Yeah, Pirates was rough. I didn't check Matoya first, which I really should have. And after that, well, apparently beer and counting steps is not a good mix, so my overworld was really sloppy. And then I didn't trust my gut instinct, which is if I have Fade, I don't need hammers. Why am I wasting a minute buying silver hammers when I don't need them?
But they're so shiny.
They are shiny and they're wonderful when you don't have Fade.
I think silver bracelets might save me from the wizard style. They hit pretty hard with silvers and pro cape too.
Yeah, I was definitely happy with the silver bracelet purchases when the one white mage I had that didn't have a bracelet got whacked for about 60 by a gargoyle.
Ouch. They were hitting people bad enough that we were seeing who kitted out entirely with silver.
Yeah, they definitely hurt. But the worst mob to see was definitely the pirates. Those pirates were rude.
I went to Peninsula Power first before doing the pirates, so they were nice.
I tried to YOLO it. Well, actually, initially I tried to fog myself, which sort of worked, but they still hit really, really hard. But eventually Fog and Heal 2 got through. It just took a long time.
That, and they also had Poison Touch, so they were going to hit with chip damage anyways.
Yep. I really wish I had checked Matoya first just for the pro cape and the gold to buy the heals.
Hey, Tristal finds the slab.
That lot of good that'll do him in this flag set.
And he actually take the white shirts too as well.
Well, the white shirt is interesting. We didn't see Invis 2 in a readily accessible spell slot that I noticed, but Absorb tends to work a lot better in this seed, as Artea's pointed out.
Yeah, Absorb is really underrated by a lot of runners. I mean, sure, when you're at high scaling and you're in Temple of Fiends, that Absorb isn't really going to do much when an Earth or a Vampire is hitting you for 300. But it's still a really important stat.
And there's so many trash mobs that can chip hit you with multiple hits, and that Absorb pays multiple dividends there.
Exactly. I mean, your healing increases in value significantly, and just the time reduction in not having to heal quite as much or quite as often, it adds up. It's worth the inputs.
So we have a floater for Tristal, and Edge is on the Lich fight.
And it looks like it's going to take him more than one fade, more than two.
And right as he finishes, he joins us in the commentary room. So GG to you, Edge.
Good game, good game.
GG Edge.
GG Edge.
So that was quite a rude ice cave.
Ice Cave was not my friend.
It wasn't anyone's friend from what we were seeing.
Yeah, I will be. I'm curious as to what was in that mage chest because nobody's gonna find out.
I also didn't figure out what was the other chest behind the frost dragons. I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with Blizzard.
Yeah, just a lot of rude stuff. The Fire 2 Frost Wolves as well. Just it was pretty cruel. But what made you decide to go to Volcano after Ice?
Pirates. I had some trouble getting out of Pirates, and I figured it was either between Volcano and Ice Cave. I figured someone would have beaten me to Ordeals if Ordeals was the play. Ice Cave felt right. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was just a ribbon there.
So looks like Volcano after Ice. Good for you. You were able to thaw out and take third.
Yeah, when nobody had done, when Ice Cave was over, I knew it wasn't Ordeals.
So we're rotating a couple more people in here right now. Tristal is on his way down to Earth, and having already killed the vampire, he doesn't have to do the double dip.
Looks like we have Len the Cat coming in on the lower left screen. He's navigating Ordeals as we speak. And those are some wicked palettes on Entroper's screen for the Kazakus.
The Technicolor Pirates, but he makes short work of them.
Normally, we prefer the runners not use fun mode just to make it easier for y'all to see, but I think we can give Entroper a pass. So there's that one of them unrunnable encounters I was talking about a few minutes ago, which is the Zombles. The other one is the Zombie Dragons, which guards the incentivized chest, but also can be found free roaming very rarely.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Tristal cleared the Earth Cave first. I mean, it's if he had the levels to have the fate charges to warrant going down to Vampire, that's not a bad play at all.
He did, and it's a decent percentage play. The chest may be a little bit scattered, but you've already got to kill the vampire.
Yeah, I mean, apart from that one chest that we all know, I mean, they're not that far off the beaten path that you have to take anyway.
I may have considered it if I had 2 fade charges, but I just had 1 when I was swinging through, and I didn't want to take fights outside of the Earth Cave.
Yeah, same. I was, level 4 or 5. I didn't really have a fade charge, or maybe I had 1 on a couple of characters. I wasn't going down there. I didn't have the resources for it, so I figured, well, let's go to Crescent Lake. EX speeds are the first group in Volcano. We have 1,000,000 charges of heal. That was my rationale behind it anyway.
I was thinking about it because I was level 8, but then everybody would do that first with Fate level 3, so I dip out and choose Volcano instead.
And we have Tristal on the Lich fight right now.
And Lich is down. Yeah, Will's right in chat. If you don't have Fade and Exit, Earth goes from, yeah, why not, to maybe I'd better go somewhere else.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You can maybe justify diving if you've got like harm 4 and harm 3, but even that, I mean, the wizards are gonna wreck you.
I think the only way that's justified if you got like Ruby already from March, and then you try to go mode it and YOLO it, maybe.
Yeah. Problem with eyes, wizards are really gonna destroy you without the silver hammers, or
But you can fog
you-
it up and just beat them up slowly.
alternatively, you can kill off 3 people and just power level your leader, and then morale will probably kick in. They'll run away.
Yeah, I have noticed in a lot of seeds they run at absurdly early times.
And we're joined by Tristal in chat. GG, Tristal.
Hey, GG Monosci for the win. Nice job.
Thank you, Tristal. Good game, man.
So, clutch win against that Pirates, or in that Pirate fight.
Fortuitous, because it got me level 6 super early so I could fade things, which was kind of nice. So that was pretty nice. Yeah, that nice and exciting.
So, it looked like you chose to do Earth first. What did you factor in when making that decision?
You have to kill the vampire to get the rod, right?
Yep.
I can't even fathom why anyone would choose not to go kill the vampire first then.
Because everyone is doing that, and you want to play for first, so you want to gamble it.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, this is a flag set of gambles.
I just didn't have the resources to get to the vampire at that point, so that's why I didn't.
You were like level 6 going into Earth or something?
Oh, not even. I was. I think I had one party member that was level 4, and maybe a couple of them were 5.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
crazy.
1 fade charge. So no, I wasn't diving Earth with 1 fade. I'm like, okay, let's go to Crescent Lake, see what goes on. Worst case, EXPs are the first encounter in Volcano, so might as well go there.
Totally doing it wrong, I guess.
We have Green Cleric coming in 5th place, time of 57:19. So GG to Green Cleric.
You know, there is some truth to the idea that you have to choose the right dungeon to win in this mode, but with races having this many people, you have to beat everyone else who chooses your dungeon as well, because there will be other people who choose your path.
That is true, and there's only a limited number of paths. You could dive Earth, you could check Volcano, Ice, Ordeals, you could deeper check Marsh, other than that, where else are you gonna go? That's still only 5 options and with like almost 20 runners.
Yeah, we had 18 entrants for this race.
That means by law of averages, there's going to be 3 or 4 other people taking your path.
That was why I wasn't too upset with a troublesome ice cave, because if ice cave is troublesome and I have to take a wipe in it, well, I'm still okay.
Not gonna lie, Ice Cave scares the heck out of me.
Agreed. Too many unrunnables.
Yeah, so many wizards, which, you know, is an issue in Earthgate too, but you have to go there anyway. But it's more
Plus,
a huge variety of mobs, a lot of caster mobs.
yeah, plus you have the Ice Giant, Ice Wolf unrunnable combo if you are unfortunate enough to have to go to the lower floors.
Yep. And rates hit like trucks.
Yes.
So I got up to level 9 outside of Crescent Lake, and I felt I had enough charges to sort of overpower most of those fights, and I had a tremendous amount of harm, so I wasn't too worried about wraiths. The Pro Cape up front stabilized me pretty well. I was pretty comfortable going into Ice Cave. Like I said, I got out of Provocuslow. I took a wipe to the pirates, and it was tricky for me to get level 2 at the pirates. So I'm like, I'll make an Ice Cave play, and I'll be fine with wherever it takes me.
Zardia picking up his floater at the bottom Agama chest and getting the heck out. As we now have him on top right.
So it looks like Zara's in pretty good shape to finish up reasonably quickly. As far as the other runners, I've got Lennon the Volcano along with Quicklit. Looks like Smug is in Ice Cave, and Entroper, as you can see, is in Earth right now. Now Quicklit picks up the floater as well.
I think in almost any seed where you see Fade, if you don't pick the right dungeon, you should probably be able to figure out where the item is based on when people got done. With the exception of if it's crown locked, because that will throw off your reasoning quite a lot.
Now it's waiting for someone to run into the crown somehow and have it lead them on a wild goose chase, but we never saw that.
I have the feeling, though, because you still have the ship, if it's crown locked, you may just you could tell that just by it being not an early dot done.
Yeah, so I got out of the ice cave and it was like 35 minutes in, and with the way the spells are distributed, I know it's not Lower Marsh, and I know it's not the first 2 floors of Earth. I can probably assume it's not Earth 3 either. Ordeals is a maybe. Like I said, if the crown is in the incentive chest in Ordeals, that could be what's delaying the dot done at that point in time. But I have a really good sense of how fast the field can clear with Fade and exit available. So I strike off Ordeals, I strike off Earth, I strike off Marsh, and that leaves Volcano. And with Artea and Mono finishing shortly after that, I figure it's Lower Volcano.
And your instinct proved to be right.
Well, I did check the armory first. I'm not sure why.
High averages. A lot of chests there, at least.
So we have Len picking up the floater right now, as well as Zar diving into Earth, and Entroper still going through Earth right now.
You can tell Entroper doesn't actually play the game much, considering all the Earths he's running into that he could be avoiding.
Well, he's still good to check the chests, but doesn't seem to be avoiding any of the encounter tiles. There's also another developer in the race right now, Meridian BC, and he is currently in Marsh Cave. So it looks like right now this is down to a race between Zar and Quicklit for 6th place.
Zar busting the plate and headed down to Earth 4.
And Quicklit is still on floor 3, so Czar having a pretty substantial lead.
And Len must have already made one Earth dive because he's able to get the rod right away.
Troper showing off the party room.
Must be where he put all those bats he moved around.
And we have Czar into the Lich fight right now.
And Czar is done with a time of 105.46. Len getting blocked by a disobedient bat. I figured Tropers would be shoving another one in that room after this game's over. And Entroper finally running into the vampire in a very suave shade of green. And by suave, I mean sickening.
And we'll try to get Czar into Discord soon. So Quicklit finishing, Czar finishing in 6th place with a time of 105.46. Quicklit finishing in 7th place with a time of 106.30. So very, very close to one another.
And it looks like Entroper has forfeited.
So that leaves 5 runners still out there. Len, Ali, Meridian, Smug, Anuris, and that's it.
Yep, and it looks like we have Smug right now on top right in Ice Cave. Hey, Azar?
GG, Czar.
The anti-gamble strike again.
I saw that.
Yeah, so look like I don't know. Could you tell us what your routing was for the seed?
Well, I gambled on early Earth. Did that, nothing. Went to Ordeals, nothing. I also did all of Marsh Cave, nothing. I then did Ice Cave, nothing. And finally, at the bottom of Volcano, I'm like, oh, well, I think that was in the last possible spot it could have been.
It could have been in Red D's, but you were pretty close.
But still, for having to check all the available dungeons, a time of 105.46 is pretty good. But I'm sure we've got a number of races left to go, so your luck may change.
Remember who you're talking to here, Edge.
You'll just have to roll the seed next time, Zara. That way everybody gets it.
GG, it was, Fade definitely helped. I kind of had a scare there early on where I didn't have Fade yet, and I was thinking about going to Marsh Cave. But with early exit, I decided to give it a run, and I was really hoping to find Ruby or Floater down there, but again, it decided to bury itself in Volcano.
What did you think of the pirate fight?
It was slow. I figured that Iron Hammers would be able to take them out, and I think we also had either, I think it was Fog 2 available at that time, maybe? And that also would have ensured victory, but it was a slow fight.
All right, looks like we've got Len the Cat finishing in 8th place with a time of 1:08:47, so we'll try to get Len on here.
I tell you what, I'm eagerly awaiting a league race that doesn't have fade.
I was hoping, but this wasn't to be the night.
And we have another forfeit. Nuris decides to hang it up, so 3 more runners left, Alley, Meridian, and Smug. And we're joined here by Len the Cat. GG, Len.
Yeah.
Seems I'm not the only one who took the anti-gambles.
Yeah. So where did Artea go after he got the TNT?
Grabbed the canoe. Well, he went to Melman, picked up armor, and then grabbed the canoe and went to Volcano. Same as Minochi.
Like how many people cleared Earth to the vampire the way I did?
Oh, we saw that Tristel did.
Yeah, there were quite a few people that did that. I think Tristel then went to Volcano afterwards.
I dug everywhere you could have dug, Len.
Yeah, I was the third to last chest that I found the floater. I'd searched every other one.
I would say that this stage is, it has quite a bit of chance involved. I mean, every seed does, but I think the chance is increased for this one, so.
Oh, good.
I almost
Comment.
feel it's the opposite.
Sorry, correction from chat. Tristel did Ordeals and then Volcano.
I have I've practiced the seed a bunch, and I practiced against like Edge Figaro, and I really think this seed more than any of the others will favor the top players significantly.
Yeah, it seems like with early fade, a lot of it comes down to execution and menuing. How fast can you get through battles and the like, and that may give some of the top runners a little bit more time in checking some of the areas, like maybe clearing out Earth and then going to Volcano, for instance. Although I don't think any of the runners did that this time around.
Knew when Artea got done, I was, slightly salty.
Oh, yeah, fairness, Minochi did it first.
But
So
I
it
gotta
looks
earn my 0 chaos point, man.
Yeah, my dreams of denying everyone a 0 are destroyed.
so. Yeah, congrats to Minochi, the second member of the 0 Point Club for stage 2. Are you planning on running any more races to play defense?
If I can, I will. Hey, Artea, how about we split up? I choose Earth and you choose another spot.
No, you can't talk about this. That's collusion.
All right, I must be exiting. I thank you all. Thank you, Randomania. Thank you, FFR staff, commentary, tracker, everyone for putting this together. I look forward to the next race, and hopefully I don't get the anti-gambles next time.
All right,
Yes,
GG's
open.
are. Thanks for stopping by.
Did anyone get the TNT from Upper Marsh and skip Lower Marsh?
Bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
people did.
And it looks like we're joined by Entroper as well. GG Entroper. looks like you decided to hang it up, but are you planning on joining any more races in the future?
I might join another one or two this week. I had fun doing this one, even though I didn't finish it. The early duns from Minochi and Artea convinced me that it's probably not deep in Volcano, so I just did a quick dip and then went straight to Earth Cave. Went down, killed the vampire, and realized, well, I've only got about 10 minutes to avoid not earning a full chaos point, and I'm not going to make it.
So, a question in chat: how many are still racing? We've got 2. It's just Meridian and Smugzug. So, one more developer still in the pool here, and Meridian is going through Earth right now. So, Troper, what do you think about the league and how it's been going so far?
Well, I really like that each week is a totally different, not just flag set, but goal. Like, killing Lich this week was cool because you get a lot of quick races in. So it's been fun to watch. It's going to force people to do things a little bit differently and make different choices than you would normally have to make in a standard race, which I like a lot.
Now, as far as the randomizer in general, are you and the development team working on anything cool that we might see in the next couple months?
Yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline. Someone is working on cave entrance shuffle and also NPC item shuffle. I think NPC item shuffle is going to come sooner. And we're also working on a couple of other game variants, like something similar to the triangle hunt in Link to the Past Randomizer. And we've got a couple other things coming, so.
We got a forfeit. Meridian's out of the race. So it looks like all that's left is all you see with Smugzug.
Smugzug fighting for honor.
Yep. Oh, he's in the right place.
He's in the right place, just got to go a little bit deeper.
Yep.
So are there any plans to be able to do sort of that shard hunt combined with cave shuffle?
We certainly could do something like that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there'll be independent options once we get those added. I think the first thing that's going to come that's going to enable, like, we're up at the limit of our flags without redoing the way flags work, but 2 of us have been working on different ways to address that, and as soon as one of them lands, we can start adding these other features. And when one of them lands, we'll also get the ability to randomize the flags, so you won't know what they are until you start the game.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And it's especially interesting because one of the more recent updates added forced party members through the ROM itself.
Yeah, there's a couple extensions we plan for that also after we address the flags. I want to be able to disable classes on a per slot basis. So you can say, well, I want 2 mages and 2 fighting classes on my team, or I want no black belts on my team, or, whatever you want to do.
The legendary no black belt seed.
Exactly. I know there are a lot of runners who would like to try races doing that.
I'm sure Artea is chomping at the bit for that one.
Yeah, the 4 mage seed.
Oh, the 4 mage scene is amazing, but no, by all means, please keep on grinding black belts. I enjoy destroying the 15 minutes you waste grinding them.
Smug is getting his floater, and now it's time to head to Earth.
Bingo.
Sadly, at this point, I don't think Smug's going to shed a chaos point out of this race because he's going to finish in about double the time Minochi did. But he is a newer runner, so it is still good for the experience.
Absolutely. I discovered so many things I didn't know when I was doing this race. I watch a lot of this, but I don't play very much of it. I actually did not know how to canoe to Volcano.
Well, we're not paying you to play. We're not paying you to dev either, but we're certainly not paying you to play. Smug is headed to get his airship.
Yep, but unfortunately running into the Hydras who don't seem to be hitting too hard, but then again, that is the Silver Bracelet and Pro Cape White Mage, so...
Yeah, hitting a little more respectable than the others. And now
I
running
enjoyed
into
the encounter. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say he ran into a Hydra and an 8, but he got away.
An 8.
All right, I got a nerdy math question. What are the odds that 4 white mages, let's say at level 1, run and fail, all 4? What are the odds of that?
Well, what's the odds of one of them? What's their luck stat?
What was it? Black mages? They're like 50% on run chance.
I think it was white mages.
White mages around 22, 23. Maybe upper 25.
% to run?
Yes.
Ouch.
So as it happens, Yunos put together a nice graph about this, so I'm going to drop that in chat right now.
Yeah, white mages only have a 25% chance to run, which is as terrible as every class except thief and black mage.
That's a 30% chance to fail to run with all 4 in a single round.
Yeah, 31.6% to fail. Which is too much.
Yeah, running with 4 white mages really feels...
Yeah, that's why I tend to pick up like a couple more levels than I should be because of the running % chance. If you are higher level, you get like a couple more % on running away.
Wow, Black Mage actually gets worse starting around level 10.
Yep.
But Black Mage gets intelligent stat.
What's that do?
X-Squad.
It's defense against the slow spell. Right?
Black
'Cause he's
Mage
got
is
more
its own
intelligence.
defense against the slow spell.
That brings up another interesting question, though. Are there any plans to maybe revisit the intelligence stat among the developers?
I don't have any plans to. I've tried to stick to like when there's a bug in the game. If it's, I don't want to say obvious, but if it's at least, somewhat obvious what the intent was or how it should work, then I'll try and fix that. But as far as intelligence goes, we have no idea in the code. Like there are no clues in the code that point us to what they had planned to do with it. I mean, we know what they did with like the wisdom and will stats in other games, but it's just not clear how that would fit into the formulas of FF1, like the damage formulas and the chance to hit formulas and all that stuff. I've tried not to be too opinionated when I make balance changes. Really, the the major one was the weapon fixes thing. But that was in response to correcting a bug where the intent was obvious with critical hits.
Even that's been rather controversial.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people really don't like it. But like I said, I try to stick to the intent.
Well, I mean, it's a setting, so if you don't like it, don't play with it.
Which is fine when you're playing casual, but when you're stuck in a race with it and don't want it.
So while we have a moment here, I just want to remind everybody, if you're interested in more Final Fantasy Randomizer action, tomorrow is the Grand Finals matchup between Trystal and Excise Blue for the Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament. And that'll be on... Excuse me, that'll be at 7 o'clock, and I can tell you what channel that's on in a moment. Speed Gaming. So 7 o'clock Eastern. I will be on commentary with Artea, and I'm looking forward to that a lot. And on Wednesday, we have Maya and Taralyn doing commentary for another round 2 matchup. And that'll be at 8 p.m. on Speed Gaming Networks. Not sure what channel yet, but as soon as we find out, we'll post that up on the schedule.
I'm going to be looking forward to that. So, assuming something doesn't go completely pear-shaped, this particular matchup is about to be over. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, did you run into the Lit 3 mages? Anybody?
I wiped once to him, and then I didn't go for that chest anymore.
I was at the bottom of the volcano. I was afraid it was in that chest.
Comment from Smug saying, I almost killed Carrie because I was so darn close.
It is tempting, but all those fade charges.
Well, I mean, it's a consideration to be made if you didn't have exit. You just go down and blast Carrie for the quick trip out. She has been known to roll Thunder and Blizzard.
I killed Garland.
It's okay. He's a jerk. He deserves it.
It was terrible. I didn't have Fade yet.
Sometimes he's an easy level too. Like other times, you spend 5 minutes plinking at him and missing half the time with an iron hammer.
Yeah, halfway through the battle, I kind of wished I had not cast Heal 3 and just let my characters die so that I could be done with that battle faster. I suppose I could have just hard reset.
So with Smugzug finishing up, that about wraps it up. We'll see if we can get him on Discord for some final comments.
Yep.
And we're joined by Meridian and Smugzug. Smug, GGDU. Meridian, GG. Sorry it didn't work out.
GG, guys.
That's all right. I wasn't in the league anyways. I told Entroper that if he ended up playing a match that I'd join with him. So that's kind of how I got roped into it.
The old peer pressure approach. So what did you...
Yeah, whatever works.
So let me just ask you guys, what did you think of the seed so far? Smug, start with you.
I went to all the wrong places, it seemed like.
So what was your route?
After TNT was check everything on the way down to the vampire just to try and get lucky, and then I went ordeals, ice, volcano.
Did you check the basement of Marsh as well?
No, I just did TNT and hopped out.
Okay.
How badly did you get hung up on those pirates?
I got them on my second try. First, I was still level 3, I think. Went out and grinded to 4, and then went back with only 3 because somebody got stoned and I was out of soft.
And so Meridian, how did your route through the seed end up going?
Oh, basically by the end of it, I had pretty much narrowed down that either the floater or Ruby was going to be in Volcano, probably both. You know, by the time I figured that out, I had already cleared ordeals, I cleared ice, I cleared the first 3 floors of Earth. Just didn't have enough time to. And that, as far as the seed goes, really wasn't that bad at all.
Yeah, I'm just glad we had Fade.
Absolutely.
So I think that about wraps things up here. Any other comments before we close out the stream?
I still want to see a fade-free seed.
Well, there's a 1/4 chance of that.
Level 7 Fade, come on.
Nah, level 7 ain't good enough. Someone may actually go and try to fetch it, especially if it's in the white mage slot. The non-class change one, I want to see it at level 8.
Level 6 fade is functionally the same as being unavailable.
Yeah, you'd have to be such high level to get level 6 Fade.
Yeah, but
I really like. I'm sorry.
There's an Agama room though.
Really
The
like these
Agamas without Fade charges.
These non-kill chaos. So I think it'll be really entertaining in the weeks to come.
Exit really changes things a lot. If you have exit, you get to keep experience. If you don't have exit, you don't level up.
Yeah, I really appreciated having exit in this seed.
Yeah, it's one of those things I keep forgetting I have until I'm like halfway walked out.
No doubt, between exit and cheap houses, spellcasting is free.
So with that, I think that wraps up this round 2 race. Congrats again to Minochi for joining the 0 Point Club. If you liked what you saw today, please throw Randomania a follow. And if you're interested in other randomizer action, there will be more Z1R tournament action on this channel tomorrow. So on behalf of everybody from the FFR community, thanks a lot for watching. I hope to see you around sometime. Have a good night.